Welcome everyone to the number one crypto YouTube platform. In today's discussion, we're going to be talking about the crazy impact that the market has had these last couple of days. By the way, my name is John for all those that are not aware. And as you guys know, on Tuesdays, I do run these streams alone. So we're going to go ahead and quickly look into what has been going on in the crazy world of crypto. And as always, go ahead and make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you are brand new. And let's go ahead and get into it. Now, remember, go ahead and comment down below if you have any questions that you want me to go ahead and review. But we're going to go ahead and start off as usually with a quick market update. Currently, right now, looking at crypto bubbles, we do see that some tokens have gone slightly down, for example, like Ray. And to be completely honest, it's actually more than just Ray. There's a huge thing that just happened these last couple of days, not with just Bitcoin, but the whole entire market overall. So make sure to go ahead and stay tuned and continue to watch. We could go over those news together. But right now, looking at crypto bubbles, we do see a little bit of market recovery. Looking at the hourly, we do still see a lot of red. Now, let's go into what has been going on in the market. And as all of you guys know, $88,000 Bitcoin, which is what we didn't want to see. We talked about this these last couple of weeks, and we talked about how $87,000 could have been a potential possibility, and that was exactly what we didn't want to see. Now, before we go ahead and start panicking and start going bearish, and let's go ahead and start looking into the positive things. But before we start doing that, let's go ahead and look into what causes market dump, this market correction. You may be asking yourself, John, is the bull run over? What is going on? Let us know. Well, let's go ahead and start off with what has been causing this market correction. So first off, the biggest news that we had was hackers went ahead and stole over $1.5 billion from the number one popular exchange, Bybit, which is one of the largest crypto heists that we've ever had in crypto history. Now, what ended up happening is the platform got hacked. I don't know how exactly. You could actually go ahead and read into more detail into this, but they got drained, and apparently they went ahead and got into the platform's ledger. So whatever they did, who knows if it was some insider move. There was definitely something that was going on. They probably were working on this heist for a long time. But besides that, the good thing out of this was the CEO actually went ahead and backed everything 101. So there actually was no market collapse as far as the exchange being collapsing, very similar to what we saw with FTX. So the good thing is that he actually had all his funds 1-to-1. So that's a good thing. Shout out to him for being able to go ahead and pull through that. He went ahead and held this pretty well. Now, this caused a lot of panic in the market, a lot of withdrawals in the platform. Luckily, as I mentioned, they had all the funds in there, so it was no problem. But if they didn't, there definitely would have been a bigger problem, and it would have been a very similar situation like what we saw with FTX. So this is one of the main triggers that went ahead and caused a lot of market panic. The hackers went ahead and got Ethereum, actually. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So it turns out that it was the Lazarus group, I believe it was called, one of the largest hackers in North Korea. So they got a hold of quite a bit of Ethereum, right? So that's where the FUD initially went ahead and happened. Luckily, the CEO went ahead and handled this. But this is one of the main reasons why we always preach, make sure to go ahead and withdraw your funds from a Coinbase, Kraken account, Gemini. Not saying these platforms aren't safe. They are safe. But even as you see, even a big platform such as Bybit that has never been hacked, from my understanding, went ahead and went through this issue. So the best way to prevent this in the future for yourselves, hopefully none of you were affected by the Bybit. I don't think any of you were, because Bybit isn't acceptable in the US. So many of you shouldn't have never had this problem. But if you did, hopefully you got out of it, right? So make sure to always go ahead and move your funds over onto a ledger device. This is one of the best ways. One of the main reasons why we preach this at Decentralized Masters is to always go ahead and move your crypto into a ledger. With that being said, a second news source that I just came across earlier today, Fortnite added a fake crypto token and Degens turned it into a Solana meme coin. So you hear it right here. Looks like Fortnite, one of the biggest games in, I would say, almost history, went ahead and released a meme coin, making pretty much fun of the space. As you guys know, obviously the crypto people went ahead and took that and created a token. And as you see right here, it looks like the top trader went ahead and profited over $69,000 when they bought a $7,000, $845,000 worth of this token called DB. Deal bits is what it seems like. I haven't looked into the token, but I thought I just wanted to go ahead and share that. Seems like even despite everything that's going on, people are still, trading crypto. They're still trading the meme coins. You would have thought that because of the last biggest, rug pulls, I guess, if you want to call them, they're not really rug pulls, but biggest, I guess, failures of tokens at launch, which was the Melania token, the Trump token, and most importantly, the Libra token, which there was a lot of chaos with that as well. So there's been a lot of chaos in the market, really. It's just like, it seems like one thing after another just continues to get worse. Unfortunately, it's like every day there's something new that is being done and is happening in the space. It just continues to get worse and worse and worse, and looks like things aren't going to get better, right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you that I strongly still believe that we are in a bull run, and I don't think this is over. I will go ahead and look into the charts together with you because there are some key things that we need to go ahead and look at, but I wanted to go ahead and share these news so I could kind of give you an idea of what has been going on with the space. So not only have we had this Bybit, one of the largest Bybit exploits that we've ever had in crypto history, one of the biggest hacks, we've also went ahead and had the whole entire chaos with the Libra token, which basically the president of Argentina went ahead and launched his token, and it came out that there was a lot of insider traders in there, which also caused a market correction. And then to make things even better, we had the Melania token and then the Trump token, which also took a lot of liquidity out of the market into these meme coins. And guess what? Most people lost money. So this is one of the main reasons why we've been seeing the market continuing to dip. But right here in today's video live stream, we're going to be looking into why I'm still positive into the market. I'm still bullish. Now, there is some key indicators and we need to go ahead and take a look at. One of them being, we've talked about this these last couple weeks, that we definitely didn't want to go ahead and see $87,000 Bitcoin happening. We did talk about how there's a possibility we could be entertaining this range, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? And I kind of want to go ahead and zoom out and put things into perspective, right? I think, in my opinion, as long as we could go ahead and break past $91,000 back again, we should be seeing a reversal in the market. Now, keep in mind, the biggest thing and the biggest problem we're running into is that Bitcoin was actually consolidating here for quite a long time. You could actually go ahead and say that Bitcoin was within this range for about 96 days. So Bitcoin has been in this channel for a very long time. So usually when we go ahead and see breakouts like this to the downside, it's usually not a good sign, and it usually indicates that there could be a possibility we could be going down even further, which is definitely not something we want to go ahead and see, because the next price target, if we were to go ahead and see where Bitcoin might be heading, could be anywhere between the $75,000 range and even as low as $65,000, which is definitely not fun to go ahead and see. I mean, we would literally wipe out everything that we gained since back in November. Now, I want to go ahead and show you the positive to this, even though it might not seem positive. I'm getting regged too, guys. Don't think it's just you. I know you might have woken up today with your portfolio down even further. I know it might be very, very difficult. And I'm telling you, based on experience that I've been in the market, of what we've seen, this is very typical behavior, unfortunately. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not in this alone. We're all going through it together. My portfolio is also getting wrecked. Everyone's getting wrecked right now, right? I'm sure there's some people that made money shorting the market, which I didn't catch this dump because I believe it happened overnight in the US. But I want you to go ahead and take a look of what usually happens during these massive, massive market changes before there's a massive move that we just saw, similar to what we're seeing right now. And I want to go ahead and zoom out and show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So what I think could be happening, and let me go ahead and show you the positiveness out of this before I go ahead and show you some examples. I think we could potentially be forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which we've been talking about for quite a long time. And I mentioned that $87,000 could have been a possibility. It wasn't something I wanted to see. It wasn't something I wanted to entertain, just because I know that breaking that support could be a very bad sign, to be completely honest with you. Now, like I said, we still have a high probability we could still go ahead and break through. And what I'm expecting, hopefully, the market to do is if we could go ahead and break through this $91,000 with no problem, we could be expecting some sort of inverse head and shoulders pattern, which we've seen multiple times, which is a reversal pattern, right? Obviously, it first needs to go ahead and break through $92,000. So let me go ahead and highlight that real quick for you guys, so we can go ahead and take a look at what we should be focusing in the market. So right now, before we talk about $106,000 or even 120, we need to focus on the key area of being able to break past $91,000. So let me go ahead and use my little marker right here. And the way you would do this, I believe it would be on the price label. You would go ahead and select it, and it will tell you exactly. So the key area we need to be focusing on is 91,347. Now, I don't want to make this too complicated for any of you. I like to keep things very, very simple. Now, this is a very typical thing in the market, unfortunately. And I'm going to go ahead and show you in the past where we've seen a very similar pattern, a very similar structure happen multiple times. And this is kind of the main reason why I'm not freaking out as of just yet. Not saying that, the markets are looking 100% perfect, but they're also not looking too bad. And you might be like, that's kind of crazy to say, like everything's down, your portfolio's down. Yes, 100%. But I want you to go ahead and take a look at this real quick. So if we go ahead and zoom out and we go all the way back to what we've seen in the past when we were in similar situations like this, we could go ahead and go back. And I've shown you this multiple times. We're actually seeing this back in January of 2024. We actually see that leading to this event, this was during the talks about the Bitcoin ETF. And we saw Bitcoin run up to as high as $48,000. And then some bearishness, very similar to what we've been seeing these last couple of days happen. Not as bad, though. I'm going to be completely honest. It hasn't been as bad. We saw some bad negative news, and then we saw the market correct all the way down to $38,000. And as you see right here, a very similar structure to what we could be possibly forming right now. I mean, this is kind of the reason why I'm not fully negative just yet, because I'm hoping that this is what we're going to be seeing. This seems to be, in my opinion, hopefully, fingers crossed, this is the last shakeout. But as you notice right here, what this channel went ahead and did is that it actually went ahead and broke support down below. Now, the difference between is that Bitcoin wasn't holding on for that long. As you could go ahead and see right here, Bitcoin was within this range for about 47 days, so roughly about half of what we've been seeing right now before it lost structure. And we did lose that support, and the market was panicking about this. I remember clearly exactly on this day back in January 2024, there was a lot of panic. People were talking about the bull run's over. There's no more bull run. Bitcoin is going to $10,000. This is what was being talked about during this time. And guess what ended up happening? Well, as soon as that went ahead and shook out everyone out of the market, of course, as you know, Bitcoin then later, a few weeks later, went ahead and made a new all-time high. And that's when Bitcoin went from $38,000 to as high as $72,000. So now put that into perspective. Yes, it went ahead and took about 2 months and a half, about almost roughly 3 months. It was actually less than that before this happened, but it happened, right? So that's one example. You might be like, okay, John, that's one example. So what? That doesn't really mean much. Well, take a look at the last channel that we were in. And this actually happened back in August of 2024. A lot of you might have been exposed to the market during this time. And as you see right here, a very similar structure happened. There was a lot of positiveness into the market, and then out of nowhere, a lot of negative came out. We had the Ethereum ETF, which actually went ahead and pushed Ethereum even lower. And as we see, Bitcoin actually went from $69,000 to as low as $49,000. And as you see, Bitcoin once again was also within this channel right here. We can go ahead and count depending on where you're counting from. We went ahead and held this range for about 159 days, just within this range right here, before we even started to see any kind of movement to the upside. And as you saw, this was just a slow drag out. Literally, this was like the last final straw where a lot of people got liquidated back in August. And then basically a lot of people got stopped out of their positions. They lost money because they were probably leverage trading, or they probably got shaken out of the market and decided to sell. This was literally when most of the altcoins were at their ultimate near bottom. And I'll go ahead and show you a chart to what we saw in the altcoins, because with Bitcoin, it doesn't look as bad. I mean, going from $69,000 to $49,000 could go ahead and shake out a lot of people. But imagine what the altcoins did. And this is kind of what we're experiencing right now, right? If we go ahead and take a look at SUI back during this time, and if we go ahead and zoom out right here, this was during the time of liquidation. As you see, SUI went from $2.16 all the way down to 46 cents and shook out everyone out of their positions. And as you see right here, this was a 79% correction, about almost an 80% correction. And guess what happened after everyone gave up and thought that this was the absolute bear market, that we're no longer going to have a bull market, that this is over? I'm sure a lot of people either got liquidated out of their positions, gave up. They're like, I had enough of this crypto stuff. I'm moving on to something else. And guess what ended up happening? That actually went ahead and marked the bottom of the market. Now, I'm not saying that this is exactly the same thing we're seeing right now. I think, in my personal opinion, that we could be expecting something very similar. Now, we obviously have to go ahead and wait for confirmation before we could go ahead and make assumptions. I do not want to go ahead and lie to you and sit here and tell you that everything is all right, okay? Because it kind of isn't. Right now, Bitcoin and the whole entire crypto market is at a very critical area. This is kind of one of the main reasons why I was saying these last couple weeks alongside with Tristan that if you had no market exposure, your best option was dollar cost averaging, right? If you had market exposure, I suggested, in my opinion, just like what I was doing, was staying out of the market because I was waiting for confirmation. Now, I went ahead and I bought a few tokens last week. Luckily, I didn't load up as much as I wanted to. And the reason being is because I still wasn't fully confident of where the market was heading. For me, I wanted a confirmation. And that's what all of you should be doing, right? If you are not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe, smash that post notifications on. And if you guys are part of our private community, I would highly, highly recommend you guys during this time right now. There's no need to go ahead and panic. This is the time they want to go ahead and double down on your knowledge. There's no reason for you to go ahead and panic right now. Yes, the markets are not looking too good, but this is the time you want to go ahead and double down, focus on whether that's liquidity pools. You want to go ahead and focus on getting in and out of a trade, how to go ahead and research tokens. Right now, I would highly recommend spend as much time as you can with your mentors. Go ahead and start joining multiple calls during a week. This is what I would recommend, in my opinion. This is the time to start asking questions, right? Whether it's for blockchains, whether it's tokens, how to do things. This is the time that I would focus on my education right now. And this is not the time to panic. This is a time to go ahead and just let the market do its thing, as usually as the market does. And if you guys are in our private community, I would go ahead and take advantage of that. Join as many sessions as you can. Because I promise you guys that once the market reverses, whenever it does, and if it does, those sessions are going to be super packed. And for those that are not in our private community, it's okay. You guys could go ahead and definitely go ahead and check out our free community down below in the description. If you guys want to go ahead and join one of our free DeFi masterclasses, down below in the description, highly, highly recommend you guys, because during these times in the market, you definitely do need a community, right? And here at Decentralized Masters, it's just not myself. It's not just Tan. It's not Salim. It's not just Sam. It's multiple of us, right? Multiple analysts, senior analysts. That's Tristan, as he joins us every Thursday. Shout out to him. I see him right here in the comments. And we have a lot of mentors, right? A lot of very knowledgeable people with experience in the market. And this is the reason why, like myself, I'm not panicking during these times in the market, right? I'm going to let the market do its thing, shake it out, and then I'm going to come back and I'll go ahead and let you know what my strategy is going to be. So if you guys are looking forward to that and you're also thinking of maybe clicking out, wait a few more minutes. You are not going to be disappointed because right now, this is not the time to give up. This is the time to double down on yourself. Not double down on crypto, but double down on your knowledge. Okay. Let's go ahead and read the comment that Tristan went ahead and mentioned. So, still lots of liquidity in the market. Hey, Tristan, welcome in, man. Glad to see you here. How important do you think U.S. inflation numbers will be when it comes to choosing the direction right now? That's a great question. I do know that the FOMC meeting on March is coming up, which is in literally in a few weeks. I think three and a half weeks or three. When we have the next FOMC meeting, I think it might be around the 16th, if I'm not mistaken, or towards the end of March. So realistically, anything could happen. You know, the Fed could go ahead and see something positive that the market wants to hear, and then on goes on to the market, reverses, just like nothing ever happened. And we are back to this crazy bull run that we all were hoping for, right? That would be the positive that I would expect this market to do. But just like I mentioned, look at this example. We saw SUI right here back in August, and it dumped to as low as 48 cents. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin, we see that Bitcoin had this last liquidation grab, and at the time, that was one of the largest liquidations at the time. And next thing you know, when everyone went ahead and got liquidated or probably gave up, guess what happened to Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin went ahead and quickly recovered from $49,000. And then a few weeks later, within probably a month and a half, you see Bitcoin do this this breakout. And as you see right here too, this was actually an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And like I said, when it comes to these bullish patterns, you always want to go ahead and wait for confirmation. And as you see right here, inverse head and shoulders pattern and a breakout. And we see this multiple times because we had an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. And we also had an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. So this usually is a pretty typical thing in a market. Now, I'm hoping that this is also an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I'm not confirming you 100% because we still need to go ahead and wait for the market confirmation. But let me go ahead and tell you what I'm going to personally be doing. Okay, I do want to go ahead and mention that this is not financial advice, and this is solely what I'm going to be doing in the market. So this is in the best case scenario. This is what I'm expecting the market to do. We're going to go ahead and recover once we go ahead and start seeing $91,000 being broken. I'm going to start to feel a little bit more confident in the market. Now, this is the bullish case scenario. Now, let's go ahead and step away from that narrative right now because we still need to go ahead and break above $91,000. Luckily, we did see that Tuesday we went as far as actually, which was today, we went as high as 92,512. So maybe tomorrow and the next 2 days, we could start finally seeing a breakout to the upside, which would be a very, very positive thing. And this would be signaling that we could be potentially be forming this inverse head and shoulders pattern. As I mentioned, it has happened multiple times. And as we see, liquidity grabs are a pretty common thing before a massive move. I know it's a little hard in the portfolio. Trust me, we're all in this together, and we're also feeling it. But the reason why I'm not too worried about this is because I've seen this happen multiple times. Now, let's say I'm probably wrong, right? If I'm wrong, what we do not want to go ahead and see, and this is exactly what I'm going to tell you, we do not want to go ahead and see. We do not want to go ahead and see Bitcoin start to struggle at around this $91,000 to $92,000 range. If we can't break above that, best believe we are going to be going further. And a lot of people are saying that we could possibly be going lower to as low as $72,000. Now, I do think $73,000, $72,000 would be the area. And the reason why I say that is because that is a very, that was once a very strong area of resistance, which, as you guys know, becomes support. So the next key area we would be going to on Bitcoin would be at around the $72,000, $73,000 if we do go ahead and continue to get rejected, right? So definitely what I would recommend, in my opinion, I know Tristan has been pretty big on talking about Pax Gold. That would be probably your best option, in my opinion, not financial advice. As you guys know, Pax Gold is literally 1-to-1 to the real price of gold. And it's one of the best ways you could go ahead and basically be exposed to gold, but in the crypto side. Tristan has been talking about gold for a while. He's mentioned it multiple times in our free community and also on the stream. So that is some sort of exposure that you're looking at. You're like, John, I still want to be exposed to the market, but I do not want to be fully exposed, because right now it's also the stock market's taking a hit. We're going to go ahead and take a look at how that's doing overall. But as you see right now with gold, if you wanted to be exposed to gold, and you wanted to hold on to gold in your ledger, this is one of the best ways you could go ahead and do that. Pax Gold, PAXG, and they are actually backed 1-to-1, as they say. You could go over to their website, paxos.com. They actually went ahead and created the PayPal US dollar. So they're actually located out of New York. And as you guys know, New York has some very strict regulations. So that could kind of give you a better idea that they are safe. And it kind of gives you a reason right here. Why would you go ahead and choose Pax Gold? Well, we'll go ahead and tell you right here. As you see, no fee. Minimum purchase right here is 0.01 T ounces, which is about $20. So there's, most places will go ahead and ask you for a minimum purchase depending on where you're going to be holding on to. As you see right here, major gold ETFs, one share goes for about $200. Gold futures goes for about one contract of 100 ounces, $200,000. And this one right here, as you see, 800K for a minimum purchase per bar. And as you see right here, time to settle is instant, allocated, and instantly redeemable for a physical. And it is also regulated, as you see. So you can actually go ahead and look at their balance sheet and look if they actually have the reserves, is what I meant, reserves. You could go ahead and allocate right here all of that yourself. So if you guys want to have exposure to that, as I mentioned, it is secure and regulated. And you could actually hold on to this gold in your ledger. So if you want to have access to gold, and instead of buying physical gold or holding on to it through an ETF, you can go ahead and expose yourself to Paxos. And this is actually one of the tokens that Tristan has been talking about with our community and also on stream. So that is one of the best ways I would recommend, in my opinion, if you still want to go ahead and be exposed to the market, but in a safer alternative. As you guys know, gold is not as volatile as crypto assets, but you're still getting exposure to the market. And you could do that. I believe there's also a silver one. Maybe Tristan could go ahead and let us know what the ticker symbol is for that, and I'll give you guys a little bit more information about that. But that's how you can get exposure to gold. Now, the second way I would recommend I would highly recommend all of you to go ahead and check out harvest.finance. If you guys are familiar with this platform, you guys should go ahead and know how to navigate across this platform. If you guys are not familiar, I'd highly recommend you guys check out our free community where you can go ahead and learn things about DeFi. But what I would highly recommend is sticking to Base. I think Base is a better blockchain in my opinion. So is Arbitrum. But as you see right now on Base, you could be holding on to USDC, and they're currently giving about 11.75%. So you could be lending your money, your US dollars, and basically earning a high yield, right? 11% is way better than what most banks will even offer you. Some of them will even go as high for banks, 3 to 5% maybe if you get lucky, but 11% is pretty good, right? No lockup period, which is a very nice thing. You could always withdraw your funds whenever you want. So one of the platforms that I would recommend, in my opinion, is if you want to go ahead and still have exposure to the market, in my opinion, I would say stable coins would be the best option. Another way you could go ahead and do that is if you believe in Bitcoin, you could also have exposure to CBBTC, which is basically Bitcoin running on the Base network. So this is also one of the best ways that you could go ahead and have exposure to the market, holding on to what you currently have right now at the moment. And right now, mostly I would be focusing on stable coins. That's what I would be focusing on right now at the moment, based on this kind of market volatility. As I mentioned, there's no withdrawal period, so you do not have to be locked up for a certain amount of time. You can go ahead and withdraw whenever you want, and different blockchains go ahead and offer you different opportunities. As you see right here with this blockchain, I forgot what this blockchain is called, but this one's offering about 12.70% on your USDC. This blockchain right here, does it tell us? It doesn't tell us. I forgot what this blockchain is called, but it's this one right here with the two little arrows. So a lot of you guys should be aware of how to use this platform. Highly recommend all of you to check it out. Another one too as well would be beefy.finance. They also, I saw a few good stablecoin pools on the Arbitrum network. So right now, instead of risking your money, you could go ahead and still have exposure to the market with stablecoins by selecting right here on the Arbitrum network. We would go ahead and head over to stablecoins. I usually like to go ahead and look at them through the highest APY to the lowest. And as you see right now, USDC, USDT currently earning 28%. Pretty good pools right now. So there's a lot of opportunities on stable coins as well for liquidity pools. For all of you that are in our private community, should be aware or know how to jump into these pools. And if you guys are having any issues, feel free to go ahead and join any of the mentors' office hours. Ask questions, as I mentioned. Right now is the time to ask as many questions as you can to our mentors and our senior analysts, so you can go ahead and get that help and best position yourself. So when this market starts to go ahead and turn around, you at least now know how to navigate across these platforms. It looks like Tristan said that the silver one is Kinesis Silver KAG. Thank you for that. We're going to look into that right now shortly. But as you see right here, this is pretty good, 28%. It's not too bad. So stablecoin is basically like a high yield savings account, right? Basically very little risk to what you're having. And if you want to have a single asset, as you see USDT right here earning 5.94%. So there is a lot of opportunities, even despite of this market. You can still have your cash making you money with very little risk, being exposed to stable coins through either lending or liquidity pools or even staking. As we've been mentioning, Tristan and myself, right now is not the time to be fully exposed to risk on. Right now, you kind of either want to if you want to have exposure to the market, you either get into asset classes such as Pax Gold, you go ahead and possibly load up on some silver, or even the second option would be buying Bitcoin, or if you really believe in the tokens that you're in, buying the dip on those. But this is silver right here, as you see, Silver KAG. I haven't personally looked into it, so I don't know much about this one. I haven't heard about it. The only time I knew about it was when Tristan went ahead and showed it to us. So I highly recommend all of you guys. If you guys are in our private community, join Tristan's sessions, ask him questions about how all of this works, and all of that. I'm going to be doing a little bit more research myself, because I think, in my opinion, this could be definitely one of the best ways to be still exposed to the gold and silver market without having to go ahead and completely leave the crypto market, right? It looks like you could be using some sort of debit card. So looks really interesting, but that is also one of the best ways to be exposed to these precious assets, precious metals. With that being said, now that you guys know where to allocate your money during this time in the market, what I would recommend, in my opinion, this is what I'd be doing personally, is if I want to be exposed to the market, I'm only going to be looking into entering these kind of liquidity pools or lending my US dollars to earn this kind of yield, whether it's 11%, 12%, or as I showed you earlier with Sushi Swap. For all of you that might have missed it, you can go ahead and earn as high as over 20 something percent on your stable coin assets. Let me go ahead and show you guys one more time on how you can go ahead and access that, because I do see a lot of newcomers coming in. Welcome in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, ask me questions. You go over to the platform called beefy.finance. You select Arbitrum. You select stable coins. I usually select it by yield, as I mentioned, so to show up something like this. And this one right here is offering a pretty good return so far. USDC, USDT, which are both stablecoin asset pools, earning 19.36%. So still, as I mentioned, you can have some really good exposure to the market. Another one right here is MIM, which stands for Magic Internet Money, earning 17.53% at the moment. So as you see, there is quite a few stablecoin pools right here that could go ahead and provide some really good yields. what I would highly recommend is only stick to the ones that you understand. And let's say, for example, if you don't know what MIM is, what you would go ahead and do is you would select this pool right here, say you're interested into this. And then what you would go ahead and do is you would go ahead and scroll down right here at the bottom, and it'll go ahead and tell you a little bit more about what this token is. As you see right here, it tells you that it's collateral in the form of various interest-bearing crypto assets, such as it tells you the tokens. With this, you can go ahead and borrow Magic Internet Money, MIM, which is a stable coin that you can swap for any traditional stable coin. MIM is a platform protocol called Magic Internet Money. It's actually been out for over 4 years, so it's I would say a pretty reputable platform. So this is how you would go ahead and get more information about the token. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and access their platform to read possibly their white paper, which is basically like the business plan, you would go ahead and select right here, which is website. And the platform is called abracadabra.money. Now, keep in mind, this is not available in the US. You could, one of the ways to possibly navigate around it would be through a VPN, but just always follow your rules and regulations. But with that being said, that's how you would go ahead and get information. As I mentioned, for all of you guys that are in our private community and might be struggling on entering these liquidity pools or have any questions, highly recommend all of you ask all the mentors, ask all your senior analysts during the office hours. We would be more than glad to go ahead and help you out in implementing that new strategy when it comes to stablecoin pools. But that's what I would recommend, in my opinion. Stablecoin right now, that's what I would be doing personally, and that's what I'm going to be doing personally, is being exposed to platforms such as Harvest.finance and Beefy.finance as well, where I'm going to be allocating my stablecoin assets into these platforms to go ahead and earn at least a yield as we wait for the market to go ahead and do its thing. Now, back into the charts, as I wanted to go ahead and show you. Let's go ahead and take a look at how Ethereum's doing. Also, same thing with Ethereum. As we see, slight support has been broken. But for Ethereum, our key area we really want to focus back into is at around this $2,500 range. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not really want to look into each individual altcoin. And the reason being is because most of the altcoins will go ahead and follow Bitcoin. Because of what's going on in the market, the rest of the market's also going to be following as well. So it's really not necessary for me to go chart to chart. Almost every chart is going to look identical. Like, if I also go ahead and show you what, AVAX would possibly be looking like right now, I'm sure it's also at a bottom. Yep, as you see at a bottom right now, which is showing us that is a major buy. Not saying that it is a buy. As I said, I would highly recommend you wait for confirmation, but this could be the bottom. Now, I'm waiting. As I said, what I'm doing, what my strategy is, I'm no longer going to be adding to any more of my meme coins. I'm super exposed to those, and I wouldn't recommend any of you guys to put your money into meme coins right now. I would say stay away from those. If you want to still have exposure to the market, liquidity pools that are stable coins would be the best option, or any blue chip pools. But ideally, I would say stay with stable right now. I think right now we really want to go ahead and wait at least a few more weeks. It could be even a few days for us to go ahead and start to see the market start to pick up again. And if it doesn't, at least we didn't overexpose ourselves, right? So in my opinion, I would recommend right now, stay stagnant, stay on the sidelines, wait for the market to do its thing, being exposed to these protocols such as Beefy and Harvest. And there's plenty of other platforms for different blockchains with different opportunities. Those are just two that I wanted to share, and the easiest, in my opinion, to go ahead and get access to. But right now, overall, the market's going to be doing this thing until it decides to play out, right? Now, let's take a look at what the NASDAQ is doing. As we see, this is also what has been causing the market correction. We do see the NASDAQ has also fallen as well, got rejected right here at the resistance. And as all of you might be aware of, or maybe not, the stock market does have a huge correlation onto where the crypto market's going to be moving. So it does have a leading factor. So right now it's also holding on support. So literally everything in the market right now is literally just holding. It's just a waiting game right now. We're going to go ahead and see where the market goes. But overall, as you see, NASDAQ is also down as well. If we go ahead and take a look at the DXY, which is actually looking pretty good, we do see right here that on Tuesday, which was today, we actually see the DXY get rejected even more. So now we are back at around the $106 range, which was what we wanted the market to do. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I think it might have been last week on the last stream on Tuesday, that there was a possibility that the DXY could either be coming back up to this 107.650, or the best case scenario would be getting rejected right here, which is the reason why I went ahead and put this little square or rectangle. And that's exactly what happened. So that's pretty good to go ahead and see it, right? So the DXY is definitely falling down. And for all those that might not be aware, John, what is a DXY? I do not understand what you mean by that. So the DXY, basically what it is, just to keep it very simple, it's an inverse correlation to what is going to happen with Bitcoin. Now, it's not always 100% accurate. In this example, basically what we're seeing right now in the market. But basically what that means is that every time the dollar goes up in value, the DXY goes up in value, Bitcoin usually goes down. And usually when the dollar goes down in value, Bitcoin goes up. So in reality, for this bull market to continue, we need the dollar to weaken over time, the index. So the dollar is actually doing what we want it to do. Now, despite the fact that the dollar actually went down lower today, the market actually went ahead and went down as well. So it should have been actually the opposite. Bitcoin should have gone up, right? So that kind of tells you it's not always 100% accurate, but it is a good indicator to go ahead and keep an eye on. So far right now, the DXY is looking pretty good. I do hope that we do go ahead and lose this 105, but we do go ahead and fall below towards this 105 right here. We should be seeing a quick market reversal. I think this is where the market should be reversing. As you see right here, every time the dollar went up to these high levels right here, usually it wasn't looking too good, right? So we do want the dollar. The best case scenario would be for the DXY to go ahead and continue to get rejected, come back down to 105, and if we could even come back down to 103, this is going to be amazing in my opinion. So overall, unfortunately, it's a whole entire waiting game right now. I'm not really looking to get aggressive into altcoins right now. I'm going to wait it out a few more days. I'll let you guys know possibly by Thursday things change. As you guys know, Tristan joins me every Thursday on the live stream. So we should be getting a little bit more data by then. But right now, guys, as much as I want to go ahead and tell you, hey, this is exactly where things are going to go, there just isn't enough information at the moment. I'm still pushing for the positive scenario. I don't think this is going to happen, but like I mentioned, we want to go ahead and wait for confirmation before I could be assuming where things could be potentially heading, right? So I do want to go ahead and see Bitcoin. Just a quick little recap. I want to see Bitcoin break above 91,347, which we actually went ahead and tested today, before I could start to get bullish once again. Now, as I mentioned, this is normal market behavior. I'm not really panicking just yet. Things are looking normal. There's nothing to worry about at the moment. I think we needed this last final shakeout. And as I mentioned, we always have to zoom out because we've seen these scenarios happen multiple times. So hopefully these next coming days, we do go ahead and start to see the market change a bit and we get a little bit more positiveness into the market. Because we have been seeing a lot of negativity across the space. It just seems like things get worse and worse and worse, unfortunately. But I'm very, very hopeful at this point that we could be seeing a little bit of positiveness to this market. And once again, as I mentioned, the narrative hasn't changed for me. I still believe that if we do go ahead and start showing up a little bit more strength in the market, we still could be reaching that $120,000 Bitcoin. So my sentiment of the market hasn't changed. It will change, and I won't lie to you, it will change if we do struggle to break $91,000. So this is the main reason why I'm suggesting either stay in the sidelines or stay in Pax Gold, be exposed to gold or silver, which is KAG, or just be in stablecoin pools. That would be my recommendation at this moment, to just stay in the sidelines and just let the market do its thing. This is kind of the main reason why myself and Tristan were preaching these last couple of days. Wait for market confirmation, because the market could go ahead and come in and just dump. And there goes everything, right? So this is why before I get excited, I always like to wait for confirmation. So with that being said, I'm gonna wait for a few more days, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be entering platforms such as Beefy, and platforms such as Harvest.finance. And for all those that are in our private community, as I mentioned, if you guys need any help, feel free to join any of the mentors. I actually do have a private session in the next couple minutes. So if you guys have any questions in my advanced section, go ahead and feel free to join me, ask questions. I'm more than glad to go ahead and help you out and go a little bit into more detail into what I expect into the market. But this is literally all I expect. Right now, just the waiting game. We need to go ahead and break past this 91, 92 before we can start panicking and worrying about where the things could be heading. Now, I think, in my opinion, losing this, getting rejected at around this zone is a bad thing. I don't think it would be too good for us to see Bitcoin come back down to $73,000. But I have to go ahead and do a little bit more research into that and see if that would still be positive in the market. I mean, we'll see where things go. With that being said, as Tristan said, join the Thursday video, everyone. So I highly recommend all of you join us Thursday as well, where we will be going live. So make sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications. If you guys are not following us, we will be going live Thursday, which would be a quick little market update as well. So we could go ahead and follow up with what we left off, and hopefully we could also go ahead and provide some more gems. As I mentioned, as of right now, I am not going to be suggesting any kind of tokens at the moment until I see the market do its thing, where I can start to feel a little bit more comfortable. I just gave you the strategy that I'm going to be doing personally, and that's the strategy that I'm going to be doing right now moving forward. I might consider shorting the market, but even then, I'm going to be waiting for confirmation before I do that. I hope all of you have, let's see, Mike. How's it going, Mike? I hope you're having a good one. Thanks, John. Keep up the great work. I really appreciate you, Mike. Mike is one of our private members as well. So I'll see you soon, Mike. I think I'll be seeing you on Wednesday. So with that being said, guys, I really appreciate all of you. If you guys are in our private community, make sure to go ahead and join me on my advanced office hours, which I do have in a few minutes. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day or night. And I'll catch you guys on to the next one on Thursday with Tristan. Take care. Bye.